Okay, let's just do this. Hi guys, it's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel. I want to make today's video as raw and real as I possibly can with as few edits as I possibly can. Everything is still very fresh, and it might be a little hard for me to talk about in advance. If you've gone through any experience with trauma in the past due to a parent losing their cool, mental illness, anything like this, and it may trigger something that you've already gone through, just letting you know that that might happen. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, especially because I know how hard this is for me to go through, let alone talk about on camera. I also am gonna spare as many gory details as I can because I feel like I'm in too emotional of a place to disclose that much information, because I might go back and regret saying those things. Give me a couple weeks and then we'll see what I feel like spilling the tea on. So over the past week, my brother and I have been moving out of my dad's house. That's where all of my videos were taking place before. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But we were moving out of my dad's house because there's a lot of things that happened, a lot of moving parts. But long story short, my dad has some sort of disorder that he's not aware of, that everybody else is aware of. He won't go to seek help for it. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to diagnose him. I'm not a professional, but he thinks he's better than everyone else. He doesn't listen to anybody else's, he rarely listens to anybody else's input. And, oh my god, he rarely listens to anybody else's input. He criticizes everyone. Like, when he goes on like a rampage like episode, he cuts off all of his relationships, like to the point where it's literally just him and his dog. And this is not the first time that he's done it. And it's really scary to go through because you can kind of see the signs sometimes when he's like going up. Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a mania. I don't know if it's just him like getting sick of everybody, but you can kind of tell when he's starting to go up. And then, no yawning, not today. And then eventually it just like everything comes tumbling down, and you know that he's not gonna hold back when he starts something like this. So to get into what actually happened, God, I don't even really know where to start. I'll start with my brother. He had certain expectations of my brother. My brother was doing his best to meet those expectations. He thought that he was doing that. He thought that he was doing everything he could to appease my dad's standards. And apparently not. And he got a bunch of texts with my dad smashing some of his stuff. And it was a video of him screaming at him, calling him a bunch of names, like, I don't even really want to say them. Just calling him a bunch of names. He keeps calling him a... He keeps calling him an idiot. He keeps calling him a bunch of obscenities. He keeps saying, Kyle Isaac Dillon, you're the dumbest person I've ever met. And he tells him not to come back to the house until, like, the next morning at 6 a.m. Like, kicks him out, I don't want you in my house, but you need to come back by the time we go to church in the morning. Because my dad wanted to take him to church to, like, teach him a lesson. So he says all those things, and then my brother, 6 a.m., he didn't wake up. He didn't mean to not wake up, he just didn't. And so my dad was like, don't come home, you're not allowed to come here, you're not welcome here anymore. Oh, this is not your house anymore, it's not your home. To me, I went with him to church despite my, like, I had this gnawing feeling that things were going to go bad, that I shouldn't go with him, but I went anyways. And long story short, he was asking about like the mental health problems I've been having, and I was explaining like an episode that I've been going through where like if something super like sets me off emotionally, then I start to have like funhouse vision where like I'm walking through doors and I feel like I can't focus. I feel like, oh my god, I'm not even really here, what's real? And it's this weird like psychosis type feeling where I'm like I can't focus, like I make stupid mistakes at work, like I sent out like 5 salads for a table of 5 people that needed 1 salad, or like I brought entire new glasses of water instead of just bringing a pitcher of water to refill everyone's glasses, like stupid things like that. And I said that like something emotionally set me off. One of the things is that I didn't get a tip from this table that had a big tab, and I was really nice to them, whatever. And he was like, that's really selfish of you. And he was saying that's really selfish of you. And I was like, I was just saying that that's one of those things that set me off. One of the, like, that was just something that led up to it. And he thinks that that's the reason we got in a fight. And he keeps saying that I go all entitled millennial on him, when really I was just saying that that was something that added to my, like, I was very good to that table. They were smiley. Something went a little wrong, but, like, I made sure I fixed the problem and everything was good. And, yeah, anyways. So he thinks that's why this happened. But after I started talking about that episode, he cuts me off and he says, see, you gave me that Tony Robbins book. I gave him Awaken the Giant Within to give me a push. And that was exactly what I needed. And I think that's what you need. You need a push. And I interrupted him and I said, I made a doctor's appointment so that I can go see a professional to figure this out. I've been working out. I eat healthy. Like, I've been doing all this stuff. I don't think I need a push. Also, stop interrupting me. You always interrupt me. And I said it in this tone of voice. Just maybe a little louder, but in about this tone of voice. And then he starts screaming at me. That's not a conversation. That's a one-way conversation. And just starts screaming at me. And I said to him, I'm like, you know what? You need to drop me off somewhere because I don't want to go anywhere with you. I don't trust you when you're like this. I don't want to be a part of anything like this. So he dropped me off on the side of, like, a back, like, country road. Like, just in the middle of, like, on this, if I would have walked back home on this road, it would have been about 8 miles walking. And he just dropped me off on the side of the road in church clothes, in, like, nice, like, heels, and it was ridiculous. And I just cried, and I called my mom, and she told me, like, you don't need to deal with this emotional abuse. Why are you, like, just because you're on a lease, you don't have to stay there. You can fight it. And then he texted me, like, make sure you do your chores when you get home. I said, no, I'm on the lease. I will do the chores when I feel like doing the chores. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you today. I don't want anything to do with you today. And I don't have to deal with you because I am on the lease. That's my space. You can leave me alone or you can go somewhere else. He didn't like that, and he told me I can't use his things. I can't use his dishes. I can't use his furniture. I can't use his washer. He's like, you can give me back my desk and my chair that I let you borrow. And just all of these awful, like, he's like, you can't use anything of mine. And then he says, oh, and by the way, you're on the lease, but Ben's not, so he's not moving here anymore. You guys know how excited I've been about Ben moving here. And at this point, it was like 11 days from the day that he was supposed to move in with us. I think maybe 12. It was less than 2 weeks. Ben, he already had his ticket, like, he already quit his job, he already started, like, getting stuff together to move, and my dad had the audacity to say this, and from there, it was just, like, no, I'm not living with you anymore, and that was the final straw, you're done. Since then, he has done things, like, he donated all my brother's savings he used some of my brother's savings to pay off some of his debt, then spent the rest of it, donating it to a church, didn't tell the church where the money was from, thinks that that's going to teach my brother some sort of lesson. When he's been earning that money, my brother's been earning that money, doing work for my dad's shop when he used to own a shop, since he was like 12. And I can't even really talk about that because it makes me feel so awful. Like, how could somebody do that to their own son? And when they've been working so hard for it for their entire life. And he was like, my dad was saying that he was going to call the cops on my brother for being a runaway, and my brother was like, well, I'll call the cops on you for all of these things that you've done. And my dad was taunting him. He was like, do it, like, Kyle Isaac Dillon, you are a mother bitch. And he was like he sent me like a Kendrick Lamar song, the Humble, and he sent me sit down, be humble. And he just has been taunting, and he keeps saying, like, how adult of you, like, whenever I say, like, oh, I'm going to be on my aunt's insurance or something. But even though, like, I'm taking care of these things, like, I am handling them on my own without him. And yes, I am having help from family, but I'm 20 years old. I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff. Like, I need help from people. I was paying the bills. He had me pay the electric bill, the electric bill, the water bill, and the internet, and not all of it, but like a third of it, my portion or whatever. And he didn't pay his bill for the electric bill because he was being petty through all of this, and his power got shut off. And he called me and was like, did you shut the power off? And I was like, no, you didn't pay the bill. If the power got shut off, it's your own fault. And just, he keeps telling me to be an adult and to stand up and own my stuff and to own and I'm not backing down from him. I won't. Like, I've spent my whole life, you guys saw the video where I got kicked out after high school. Like, I have spent my whole life walking on eggshells around him, and that's not gonna happen anymore. No man, nobody, person ever is gonna be allowed to talk to me like that, to treat me like that ever again, because that's not okay. It's not okay. And if you're in a similar situation, if you know anybody who's in a similar situation where they're being manipulated, like, he would do things like tell me he's so proud of me and I'm doing such a good job, and then do whatever he can to drag me down and be like, look yourself in the mirror, Savannah, and tell me that you're not selfish, and tell me that you're not this and that and this and that and that. Like, you need to apologize to me, and just all of these things. And I will make another video to explain further and to clarify anything that isn't understood. But we moved out of that house within like a few days, and I moved to my aunt's house. He made me like make an agreement, and he originally like he's very controlling. Like, we met at the Starbucks that I used to work at, and he set up a tripod to record the conversation just in case. And he wrote notes of like all the money I owed him, which included like that one time we went to Chipotle, or like that one like 12-pack of mineral water that he bought for me, like stupid petty things like that, like a whole chart. And then he's like, oh, Savannah didn't do yard work, so she should owe me $50 for that. Like, stupid shit. And then he had like an agreement that basically said he would give me back my brother's car. By the way, my stepdad gave my brother his car before he moved to New York, and it's in my dad's name because my brother wasn't he was like 16 at the time, so yeah, I think 17. So it's in his name, and he's not letting it go. He's literally just holding on to it to try to like teach everyone a lesson, when really this whole situation is stirring my brother up so bad, because he just told him that he spent all of his money like paying off his bills and donating it to a church, and now he's saying that he's taking his car and keeping it just to teach him a lesson. That's gonna just stir up immense amounts of anger in like any teenage boy. Like, why would that actually do anything to help him be a better person? No, this boy is going to get sent to jail for breaking into your house and pissing all over your bed because you're an asshole. I'm sorry, like, I don't understand. There's no logic. I mean, your logic, I understand it, but also, like, no, that's not how it works. What would you do if somebody did that to you? You would get arrested for breaking into the house and pissing all over their bed. So, in the agreement, he said, I'll give you back the car. I will settle most of your debts, because even though he told me that he wants me off the lease, he keeps holding the lease over my head. So he keeps saying, like, you owe me like $4,000 for all this rent for the year that you're not going to pay, and then for money that you owe me from this and that, and like, so he keeps the car, the debts, and I think that was like about it. If I finish paying off my phone, which is valid because it's my phone and I pay for it, I pay him back $1,000 of what I owe him, which, by the way, $350 of that is a security deposit on my dog. If I move out, which I'm moving out, and I'm taking my dog with me, I don't owe him that money because he's just going to get it paid back at the end of the year, and he's not going to just reach out and be like, hey, here's your $350 back. That's not going to happen. No, I don't trust you at all. And $500 of it I borrowed from my brother's savings to pay for my car that I had to get after I crashed my old car. I'm not going to pay you back. And he keeps saying, that's not how this works. He's a high schooler. Technically, it's mine. Technically, I own it. It's under me. And I'm like, no. I don't care if you take me to small claims court. You will have to look to the judge and say, I took this out of my son's savings to loan to her, and now I want her to pay it back to me. You know what I'll say? He donated the rest of his savings to a church. This whole thing, I can't, fathom. I can't understand. And then he wants me to do all that stuff. He wants me to pay $1,000 to my grandma, as paying off him, but to my grandma, in support of my brother. So his reasoning is that he doesn't want my grandma and my aunt to have to take responsibility of us, and he feels bad for that. So he wants me, instead of paying him back, to give my grandmother child support for my brother with money that I owe directly to my brother, not to him at all. And by the way, all the combined money I actually owe him directly, morally and actually owe him directly, is about $100. About $100. And that's including the Chipotle, the Topo Chico mineral water, and the week that I was on his Geico insurance. It's oh my god. He also said, and he wrote this in the agreement, and I would pull it up if I had it, but I'm just gonna say it. He said, either give me Sophie, American Bulldog, or $500 for a new dog. That's my dog. I don't owe you anything for my dog. What world are you living in where you think it's okay to put in, if I bring that to a judge, they're gonna laugh in his face. I could go to the foster mom and be like, my dog, right? Pretty sure that's what we talked about, because she's my dog, not your dog. So you can go kick rocks. And I considered giving him my dog because I don't want him to kill himself when he realizes the huge mistake he's made, losing his entire family. And because of my other dog, because they love each other, they're best friends, and he's going to be lonely, and I feel awful about that, and she's going to be lonely without him, but I don't trust him at all. He's not getting my dog. So, anyways, that's what's happening up to this point. I am getting off that lease. Benjamin is still moving here. We are going to be getting an apartment together. My grandma is going to help us, which is so amazing of her. I feel so bad, but also I feel so grateful to have her, because she wouldn't be helping me if she didn't want to, if she didn't genuinely want what's best for me. She wants me to keep Sophie because I took responsibility of her. She's my dog, and she supports Ben moving out here because Ben's still willing to move out here, and she was so skeptical of him coming for so long that now that he's actually gonna come, she's like, okay, we'll do this, we'll get this, you just need to go to school and you need to work. So those are my biggest things. I'm going to school, I'm working, I'm gonna get my life together, and I'm gonna prove to myself that I don't need him ever again, because he also put his hooks in everything so that he could tear them out. He canceled my gym membership even though I was paying him directly for my gym membership. As soon as my phone's paid off, he's gonna rip me off his phone line. He tried to take health insurance away from me, which he's already told me it doesn't make a difference to him in paying for my health insurance and his just everything. He just wants to take everything from me, and I just can't fathom it. A parent that would want to do that to you. He's not my father anymore. He told me on the phone that he wants me out. He wants nothing to do with me. I'm not his daughter anymore. Like, he said directly, you are not my daughter anymore. So I guess I should just be calling him by his name. But I don't want to reveal that because I'm not that awful. Okay, well, that's everything. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I hope that if anybody's going through a situation that is this awful, or similar, or with a parent that is taking advantage, that is like setting them up for failure, that is harming them, please, please, please don't go silent. Don't, like, stand up for yourself. And there may be backlash. There very well may be backlash, but then you're out from under them, and you can go on and, first of all, recover from your trauma, but also like live your life for yourself and to your own standards without being afraid that somebody is going to not agree with you or do what they can to like uproot you. Like, you got this. You got this. I got this. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys will come back to my channel and watch my other videos, because they're not all like this, but I just needed to put complete blunt honesty out there and share this because it's what I've been going through. It's why I haven't been posting videos, and it's a lot. But anyways, take care, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, have a great rest of your day, your week, your month, and your existence.